I'm ready for it, Pat.
Are you ready for it? Are you ready for this?
I
was thinking about
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
I was thinking about that Dead Poet Society thing. You know, the powerful play goes on, and may you contribute a verse. What will your verse be? Type vibe. And I was thinking about like what that would look like just from a logistics standpoint in the afterlife. Is there like an application you fill out, like, you know, how old were you when you died? You know, blah blah blah. Friends, family. You know, any verses to contribute. You know, circle Y for S, N for W, other. You know, like if you circled yes, what was it like? I was wondering, like, if you don't have any, if your life was particularly unspectacular, could you donate one to like Max Bemis or something? Like, I'm sure if Max only get, like, it's unfair if we each get to contribute one, because Max Bemis, I hope he would get more than one. You know what I mean? Like, if he picks Every Man Has a Molly, and that leaves Eloise out of whatever this ledger is being kept for, you know, in terms of the play going on and everything. So anyway, I was just thinking about this album that we're going to talk about today, the song Eloise specifically at length for the last several decades.
Jesus
and
Christ.
whether or not we could donate verses, because it feels like if Max only gets one, that's just a flawed system. So anyway, that's been in my head, man. Just, you know, pretty light thoughts as the quarantine goes on. Nothing too wild. So anyway, it's nice to be talking to you. A little rainy day here in North Carolina, but the spirits are high, and I love this album a great deal.
Same, man. One of the best.
I guess we should just get into it, man.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
What is going on, everybody? I'm Tom.
And I'm Pat.
We're best friends, and you're listening to the Reminiscent Podcast. Pretty on brand. I mean, there's a lot of talk of death and pearly gates and what happens when your soul goes on without your body. So just trying to throw you a bone there. It's not as creepy and sad as you think. It's pretty on brand. So.
That's all I'm looking for. Pat, you're not as creepy and sad as you think. That's really the only note I'll ever accept from anybody. No, it was just I forget why I was watching the movie or whatever, but it was just like, man, I don't want to contribute a verse. I want Max to contribute 2 verses at least. So I'm going to give him that. You can give one of yours to Tom DeLonge or something. But anyway, it was just like the aliens or whoever's keeping track, Eloise needs to be on your radar. That's kind of the whole thing. I'm also kind of hopped up on this book I've been listening to, Saturn Run, where like there's like this little spaceport the aliens put near the rings of Jupiter, and like they have to try to trade artifacts in the middle of one of the deals. I won't give anything away, but I just did actually. But anyway, like you got to put Eloise in there. Anyway, we're talking about Saying Anything's self-titled album, and I think it sounds like we have a little bit of housekeeping, but I'm chomping at the bit to get into it. But I won't rush. I won't rush this.
Yeah, no, I'm just imagining like the Voyager 3 with the gold record on it, just Eloise nicely placed in the middle.
Right. Everyone has their like special whiskey or cigars. Like, oh, you got to smoke one of these, baby. You're like, I know, I don't actually. I'm saving on to this single compact disc version of Saying Anything self-titled, and I'm going to throw it at the first alien I see. Keep this, and then kill me, but keep this.
Oh, God. Anyway.
Doing it for you, Max. I'm doing it for you.
We have a tiny bit of housekeeping. Sorry to derail this, but I wanted to quickly thank
that beautiful, beautiful momentum we had. Talk about sci-fi like 2 minutes in. I think the housekeeping gets us back on track, actually.
I want to give a quick thank you to Patrick McDonough for being our newest Patreon supporter, member, patron, best friend, whatever you want to call that. I felt bad because in the last episode, The Curse of Curves that we did, I specifically said this episode is not for you, Patrick, but for your friend Justin. And listening back on editing it just sounded like super rude, like this is not for you. So this episode, the Say Anything self-titled episode, is for you, but you have to share it with Gabby. I believe it was her on Twitter that begged us a couple times to do this album, and we are very happy to do that because it's one of the best.
Yes, we are making our distinct efforts to work down the list, which has gotten long, thankfully, but also like you kind of feel bad because there's only one show every week.
Yeah.
So we got the elusive Google Doc that does exist and is kind of a dangerous place anymore. It's an odd collection of fonts and bold and underlines and italics and things like that. But
in black and blue text.
Right.
I actually just before the show started, I tweeted out some of my notes from this week. I'll hop on Twitter and post screenshots of our Google Docs every now and then because they're
At the bottom, at the very bottom, in the Marianas Trench of that doc, there is a humble suggestion from me like 4 years ago to do "Come Clean" by, or "Let the Rain Fall," whatever that song title is, by Hilary Duff, and it's just anything on Weezer. There's just those are my only 2 notes pretty much for the entire doc, but they've been shoved down so far on the doc. Someday.
Oh, we'll talk about Weezer this episode actually when we get to the fun facts.
That doesn't count. I don't want that to count, but cool.
That's your episode, Pat.
No.
Say thank you.
Rivers actually only does get 1 verse. No, I'm just kidding. To submit to God. Sorry, I'll stop. I'll give that bit up.
Let's do the fun facts.
Yes, let's do it.
So, first of all, okay, the album art for this, the chubby kid holding the sword in the moon, I could have sworn that I made artwork for this show with that artwork before, and I was like spinning out thinking like we already did this episode or something, or I don't know. I just remember making an audiogram with that kid. Anyway, it was it really stressed me out thinking maybe we had done it and I dreamt that we didn't, but really cool artwork.
No, I like it because it's the moon and not a curved weapon. I think it's worth talking about. I think you and I both went for years thinking he was a small superhero boy with a legitimate curved blade of some sort, but he's just I
thought it was a scimitar.
Yeah, because there is a curved blade out there with a name and everything. You just said the name of the weapon. So, but no, he's just putting his fist in the air, right? And this just is a moon and kind of a paper fake city skyline type thing. Kind of childlike wonder being portrayed.
Maybe that's what it was. You like tweeted at me like, I always thought he was holding a curved sword. Maybe I just spent a lot of time looking at the artwork.
There's a lot going on. He's got, child, a little underwear, a little Quail Man vibe, doing his thing, some imagination going on here. Maybe a return to form or something. I'm not sure. Maybe it wouldn't be maybe the last of their, core form. I don't know. We can get into that later. But so these facts. This is 10 years old. A little more than 10 years old.
Yeah, just barely more. Oh God, yeah. We're gonna have to get to that near the end. One of my biggest regrets surrounding this album. But anyway, the album was released November 3rd, 2009 on RCA Records, which is what Blink-182 spent some time on. So they're hitting the big leagues here. Apparently it was their last album on a major record label as well. Debuted 25 on Billboard 200, 7 on US alternative albums, and 12 on US rock albums. And there was very little to find out about the album. So the fun facts are almost done already.
Numbers are fun. Spelling is fun.
Yeah. Not anymore. Not on the album version.
Spelling's been canceled. And I blame Brendan Urie, who had a bad week on Twitter this week. People were giving his songwriter, the Fever You Can't Sweat Out lyricist, giving him some credit and, shedding some shame onto Brendan. So there's more. We should probably do a Fever You Can't Sweat Out episode if we haven't done a full one on it already. But
totally.
That's not the time or place. But and it was interesting because the lyricist, it was like the guitarist, I guess, and there's like a little bit of like somebody was like, Brendan, he's not the champion of this effort. I was like, ooh,
wow,
spicy takes.
Yikes. Well, speaking of Taylor Swift, are you looking at the notes? Did you know she was coming up next?
Yeah, I love watching you anxiety click through the words. So I just kind of, it's like entertainment for me while you talk to like watch your cursor jump around. I'm like, I don't know how many cups of coffee you've drank today, but I'm guessing it's
I swear to God, it's not me. Well, first of all, I do have to edit out.
I can see you're
so
the
many
pink.
Of my mouse
it's in Google
clicks.
Docs. It's the pink cursor. It's bouncing around more than once per second, and I don't mind it. I got my own tics too.
Dude,
I
that's
freaking
not...
like slobber burp into the mic every week after every breath. So I'm not in a position of judgment. I enjoy watching it.
Oh my God, I don't think I'm doing what you're accusing me of doing.
Somebody is moving that cursor, man. I'm just telling you. This is quality radio, and I realize that, so we should talk about it for a lot longer. But I'm telling you, that cursor is jumping around like a motherfucker.
All right, I haven't moved it in like 30 seconds. So.
Well, now.
Okay, so for first week album sales, I couldn't find total, accumulative, whatever, but 16,647 album sales in the first week, barely less than Taylor Swift's holiday collection, which released just the month before. So hers are starting to dwindle off. And
does that speak to her strength or? Say
Oh
Anything
yeah.
strength.
After a month, she's still getting more sales than Say Anything on their first weekend.
Like
but
one of their best records. That's tough.
yeah, but Weezer Ratitude released the same day as this album
Yes, sir.
with way more record sales than Say Anything. But
You know, that's why I wanted to do the Weezer episode, the only 2000s Weezer draft. Not because I think it would be necessarily fun for you at all, but because I want to talk about, I'm wondering if, or I want you to, if you're wondering, I don't even remember the name of the song, but it's catchy. Rivers has a nose for a hook even late into his career, and the haters can shove it.
so the artwork is cool as hell, though. Well, let's do it. Fed to Death.
Oh, okay, Allentown boy, PA boy, CA boy.
What?
Super inside Academy joke for the high school we went to. It was like
Oh,
a
God.
rap group that covered Soulja Boy, and that's it at one assembly. So calling them a group is a stretch to begin with, but they were fun. You start to see some religious themes right off the bat. A good album opener, not very lofty, not very ambitious, but super catchy.
What?
Rocks very hard.
Man, okay.
I'm saying it's a good album opener. Like, it's not as lofty as, say, like, they're not trying. It's just like setting up some themes, setting up a mood, setting up a tone, setting up some rhythm. Rocks hard as hell. Definitely sucks you in. Like, they're not losing any listeners at this point. They're just like, this is right down the middle, super fastball. Like, let's LFG, let's freaking go.
I mean, I guess I agree. They're not taking any risks, but I think it's also like one of my favorite Say Anything songs, if not one of my top something songs ever.
You know what? You're right. I don't want to get off on a wrong foot. This song is incredible. This album's incredible. This album, I didn't open up this episode talking about it, deferring my life verse to Max Bemis as a joke. Like, this is a lyrical masterpiece starting from this song. It's a tremendous song. Compared to other tracks on the album that are a little more, what I'm saying is just like, it is an album opener to the best degree possible. It's just a simple good rock and roll riff, crazy lyrics, setting up kind of a religious tone that gets revisited throughout the album. And, verse 2, getting into some Jesus stuff. Quote, nail yourself upon the cross and hang your head in shame forever. This is forever. Rocking hard as hell. Like, they're just kind of like, it itself is not the most ambitious track on the record, but it's being like, there's going to be some stuff you're about to encounter. We just need you to be prepared for what's coming soon. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a good, like, setup, right? In the best way. I love it. It's a good setup. It's the perfect album opener. I do love this song a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm really bad with lyrics. I've said that almost every episode on this show. I read all the lyrics as I listened to this album in preparation for this episode. And damn, they're even better than I thought. And really digging into like the meaning of Fed to Death. Like, I feel like the vibe of this entire song is that Eric Andre meme where he shoots Hannibal and he's like, who killed Hannibal? Like,
right.
It's what it makes me think of. And like, all right, so the dad feeds his son to death and he's like, I didn't have anything to do with this, but like the kid relies on you solely for their survival. So like, of course you had everything to do with it. But the line, I bear no blame for this, I only share his name, is incredible. And then
yes,
what I really love about the religious stuff is like, I feel like in our notes, we made a very strong point to be like, oh my gosh, another religious theme. But then when you read Max's thoughts about the album, he's like, he wanted to tackle religion. Like, that's the point of this album. So we like keep thinking we're finding these little Easter eggs, but it's actually like the entire meaning of the album.
Right. No, I think I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, you listen to it for years and years and years, and it's a deliberate effort to create a pop album or a rock album. Maybe we can get into that later, but
rock
to create
opera?
we can get into that later too, because that's what freaking Is a Real Boy was supposed to be. There's some spoken word stuff on this album that he wanted Is a Real Boy to be, but it was so many tracks and they had a limited budget that I don't think it is what he has been on camera saying. Maybe it wasn't the effort he thought it was going to be when I'm talking about Is a Real Boy, but maybe it is the rock opera he'd always wanted and stringing themes together and things like that. But very deliberate, but it kind of tests those waters of what lines can you cross and still come out with a record that sells well and is commercially successful. I don't know if that was the intent, but it's interesting to watch him try because this album freaking rips from start to finish.
Yeah, I mean, he's not afraid of tackling very strong and sensitive themes and, fake Christianity. They forge an image of his flesh to brand on mugs and t-shirts. And I was just talking with my wife about it the other day because I'm, atheist. And my biggest gripe with all of that is the people that, as long as, and I even felt this when I was a Christian, like as long as I said out loud that I am a Christian, I felt like I could trick God and make him think that like, no, I want to go to heaven, but everything I did was like directly the opposite of that, So I don't know. I think he very eloquently talks about the double standards, whatever of that. And it's a very catchy song. The guitar is dope. And I like that they kind of trick you like with the breakdown where they take out all the instruments and it's just like the electronic drums and the synth, the do or whatever. And you got like, I wanted this to be more powerful. And then like right by the time you had that thought, the second time around the breakdown, all the instruments come back in and it's just, ooh, I love this song, dude.
Yes, it's a good two parts. There's the first verse and the first sound, then they come in heavier with the more impactful lyrics and the heavier. It's just so good. And then the beautiful piano outro is like,
yeah,
I have no idea what's coming next at all. But they kind of touch on all the themes, and then you roll right into Hate Everyone, and you're like, oh God, okay, wait a minute, let's just wait just a minute. Did you want to put a tier on Fed to Death before we move along, or a grade, or what game would you like to play this week?
Yeah, ranking songs is too hard, and I thought tiers might be a little easier. I was thinking we can have tiers like B, A, and I've seen before like an S tier, which I've understood in context to be better than A. I don't know why that is.
You
assumed...
said we're going off of Twitter breadcrumbs here, but the God tier, is that what you're alluding to? The alleged God tier? I'm not claiming to know, but let's just go with it and correct us later, tier. Everybody.
Okay.
We'll call it the God tier based on the religious undertones, or not so under,
sure.
But the tones on this album for that. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to say a solid A, right? Great album opener, but there's more and more to come.
So I really want to give it S.
Do it.
But
it's so good.
The thing, I hate this song as much as I love it because I wish it were 6 minutes long.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's two parts. It's great. It's simple. It's kind of, I hate when songs are great, but they're like less than 2 minutes. You know what I mean? Like when they're, I don't know.
I'm going to give it an S. I don't think you can give.
Do it.
I don't
the
think
lyrics
you can
are great.
count the length against it.
You set up, the masterpiece is a masterpiece for all the parts involved, and it sets it up beautifully. I'm not going to hate on that at all.
Yeah.
Hate Everyone.
Yeah.
He seems to hate everyone here. Tom, do you have any further analysis?
I love that he goes through, first of all, God, he's such a damn poet. The way he talks about like his birth and just like Nihilism's birth, hated everyone, like talking about his brain dead kin. And it's like, dude, you're a fucking baby too, who's not even capable of these complex emotions.
But he also
and
hates himself, and that's why he's a humanist, Tom. That's why he's a humanist. Gosh darn it.
Okay, let me just say, I have enjoyed this song for many years now, and it was like rediscovering the entire album once I listened while reading all the lyrics along with it. I didn't know I could love this album more, but new appreciation all over again just today before we hit record.
Yeah, it's a another lyrical explosion of creativity and crazy. Like, he's just attacking, like Mother Nature, you green-eyed bleep. Studying the history of men's minds, chasing tail and committing hate crimes. You could do an hour on that line.
Yeah.
Like you just, that's it, man. That's essentially the lot of it. Hippie girl with the gas guzzler, forced myself to fall in love with her. Like, as a teen, some of these things just like hit, like, I knew he wrote this album for me because, topical, fun, good, biting. And if you're a teen, you love to hate stuff. You're like, I'm mad too, man. I'm really mad too. I don't even know what it's about, but I'm riding my bike fast as hell across the city of Erie. I know that much.
Breaking land speed records.
on a 4-speed, like made in the 70s road bike that has a lump in one of the wheels or something.
So I've told the story. I believe it was the Alive with the Glory of Love episode, so I won't belabor it. You can go back and find that. Link is in the show notes. But I didn't find this album until I was about 21 when my roommate Shane like forced me into it because my girlfriend in like 2008 loved Max Bemis, and he's such a genius, and it made me jealous, so I hated Say Anything for way too long because I was jealous. But I discovered it when I was like 21, and I remember blasting Hate Everyone over the speakers at the coffee shop where I worked. And my friend Colin, who was the manager, came downstairs and he's like, I know this is the most Tom song that has ever existed, but we can't be playing this right now.
Well, I'm just realizing that the first line, not the first line, but the first real line in it after the intro is when I was sat into the earth in a stream of guts. Like, oh God, I like just now realized what that really was implying. Like, I'm still discovering things now, like as we record. I'm not lying. Like, I was just like, okay, that's disgusting.
I mean, yeah, the whole first verse is incredible. And the line that, like, I don't know how he spits it out, in one to whom I still shall stay stuck.
Yep. No, it's I would say at some point in this album, we're going to say that the foot has been taken off the gas pedal, not by choice necessarily, but you can't just, you talk about people that can rock a mic. I think it was Pat Stickles, the Titus Andronics lead singer, was on an old Grantland podcast talking about people that could really, rock it, whether it was R&B or rock. And he was giving credit to, certain rock singers. I don't think Max came up, but he should have for this album alone.
Yeah.
Like, you talking about it's one, like his point was you can rock a mic and not be rapping. You could be, if you're a rock singer and you're working the crowd, you get the mic in your hand, you're doing your thing. Max is putting on a show and full display of his abilities, his arsenal on this record.
Yeah, it's, again, totally new appreciation after like really digging into the lyrics for a bit.
Can we talk about the singer with the denim skin real quick?
Yeah, I didn't know this reference until today.
He just tweeted it a couple weeks ago. So he's been very active on Twitter lately. He was like, admittedly, it is Brandon Flowers from The Killers, but that was before I met him and I was a bigger back then. So basically he's saying like, I'm still an angry person and I still have flaws. I don't hate Brandon Flowers, but that's exactly who it was referring to.
Well, let me say this.
Kind of interesting.
I found a response to this from, I think it was Gina's lyrics, but it's, I know.
Shout out.
It's
sponsor the show, damn it.
The real star of this show, actually.
Yeah. It's my favorite bit.
But no, this is actually pretty good. The quote was, well, Flowers is an undeniably talented musician. He can also be a nasty person in real life. For instance, he once said that emo and pop punk are quote unquote dangerous and that he wants to quote beat all of those bands to death. And hashtag defend pop punk with automatic weapons.
Who's that from?
Man Overboard. Remember their t-shirts is like defend pop punk and it had like AR-15s.
I must have missed that one. Sounds pretty aggressive.
Way too aggressive.
Yes, for sure. I will say this. We have called emo and pop punk dangerous on this show weekly for like 3 years. So I'm not going to hate on Flowers too much. I think if you listen to our Hawthorne Heights episode, I think the point was raised that perhaps putting,
True.
Did people feel that way before they heard it, or did hearing it bring something out? Anyway, that's not what we're talking about today. But I'm not going to just shit on Flowers for saying stuff we've been saying for a while. But it sounds like the beef has been squashed, if there ever were one.
Sure.
Did you ever force yourself to fall in love with anybody?
I'd say more often than not, I try to not fall in love with everybody.
Oh, I mean, specifically in a romantic context.
Force myself to fall in love with her. I don't know. I'd have to revisit that. Maybe post show.
Yeah, I don't know if I actually, you know what? I take it back. I don't want to go there today, just in case the answer is yes for either of us. Yes, I'm still down with JC. Just slips it in there before the end of the song, and you're like, okay, hey, there's that Easter egg again. But it's pretty prominent, actually. It's not an Easter egg at all. Just kidding. But I love the ending. I'm sure how many teens Googled what is humanist after hearing this song in 2009. But I'm glad he admits that he hates himself because I think every teen does too. So I don't know. It's like the perfect teen song. Like, yeah, f*** everything. Yeah.
But also, like, there's so many like hate anthems that are not eloquent or artistic in any way. Like, it's just the thing that I always make fun of is punk bands with Megan, and I'm always just like, society, and there's like, there's that bit on Portlandia where he's bringing his, what was the band called? His punk band, and like Henry Rollins is in the band, and Fred Armisen's like, I refuse, and Henry Rollins like, yeah, but what are we refusing? He's like, I don't know. Everything, man. Society.
Yeah. Fred was on actually the Hard Times podcast. It was pretty good. It's a good listen. Our buddies over there, I guess you could say, we've spoken to them before on the show, but he did an SNL skit which is similar. They're at the daughter's wedding. He's like, my daughter said I could do this, and I really appreciate it, honey. Anyway, this is my old group. We're like, hey, we're looking a little older than we used to. It was Ashton Kutcher and Dave Grohl were hosting the musical cast. And then they're just like, up in society. He's like ripping the tablecloths off. It's like pretty much an homage to like Ian MacKaye, I think, and everything, all that type of thing. But
amazing.
Fred has a real love, I think, for that stuff. But
he's so good.
Anywho, so good. Anywho, I think I would give this one a solid A as well.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
It's hard because I do love them all, but there's some songs that are just like,
I don't want to just be throwing around God tier, man. These are still A's. You know what I'm saying? These are still A's. This is still something we enjoy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's.
Also, this is like a pretty specific set of tiers we've set for this show, so nothing's going to get a B or a God tier anytime soon. I don't think. We'll see. Unless the next one does.
Ooh, do better. More positive note.
Poppy, catchy, love it, different, fun, but not too fun. Feel good bop of the decade? ?
Oh, okay. I actually made an inspirational poster of Max Bemis. I forget what the deal was, but you can be the greatest man in the world. It's just like, it's so feel good after Hate Everyone.
Because why not? Because you could, I guess. Well, not if you read that Gladwell book about what's it called? Outliers, where there's only specific sets of people who could be successful in the history of the world. Never mind. Let's be positive about this song. Do better.
It's a good book.
I'm going to say, I've never watched Will and Grace, but controversial yet mundane. Deborah's Messing with Your Brain. It's so this is not a small amount of thought put into this record. Obviously, your life is always the post of something else. Where's the present in the way that you present yourself? It's like, oh my Jesus, like not as breakneck perhaps as the first two, but you're just like, man, he's still spinning a web here. The gas pedal is still on the floor lyrically. The "You're a fraud, thank God you learned to put your shirt on" stuff. Kind of, there's like this, as you keep listening to the record, there's like references to maybe just Brandon Flowers the whole time, I'm realizing, but just like generic handsome people that, are actors who play guitar or models that are taught to read, et cetera, more on that later. But there's just kind of this like fictional handsome person that he's dissing this whole time, which I loved. As just like, yeah, handsome people, this is the best. I love this record. But anyway, again, where's this hate coming from? I don't know. We're from Erie. It was fine. But like, you know what I mean? So really, none of this really makes a ton of sense.
No, I mean, it's a really good song, and I really enjoy it. I think one of my favorite lines is like, again, how eloquently he can talk about farting. Like, simple as a hint of gas climbing nostrils as he passed, making Harvard graduates feel childish when they laugh at it. Like, I don't know. I've just never heard poetry like this before. Like, it's honestly inspiring for sure.
Yes. The one I wanted to compare it to was "Wow, I Can Get Sexual Too." Like, not afraid to mess with poppier beats just for the sake of a good song, to house the good lyrics and I'm sure, have you ever seen them live?
Oh, we'll have to talk about that later, Pat.
All right, let's save it. I'm going to give this one a solid A just because we could just recite the lyrics over and over, but I think we're getting to the fact that the gas pedal's still down on the floor. Really good song, really good feel. It goes from hate everything to feel better, do better. You could be the greatest man in the world. I never realized the juxtaposition of those two, like sensibility, or like those two songs right next to each other until just now. I'm realizing, but it's like, I hate everyone. Come on, guys, we can do better. It's like, wow, okay, a little all over the place, but I love it. But maybe probably intentionally so.
But also as like a young adolescent man, I mean, your emotions do switch that quickly. I mean, and
true,
adolescent people in general. So I think it's fitting, and I love that it's like immediately like hate filled to like maybe not, I don't know, like I got emotional, I'm sorry, like let's try to look at this a little differently, and then boom, less cute. Like,
Yeah. So far, did you give an A to do better as well?
oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So far, like the perfect record to be a teen too.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
be a teen too while riding your bike and trying to just work through what nature's making you pump out. I guess just like
Right.
plenty going on. Less cute. Interesting. Social strategies taught to Bohemian crowds is in my notes. Admit it vibes. Admit it was very good. My other note, he hated Brooklyn, ? He appears to. Anyway, just lots screwing. Anti-hipster before hating hipsters was cool. Credit to him on that one.
Well, he was in Brooklyn before it was cool, right? Isn't that?
Yeah, that's where they were. Well, yeah, that one book that was in our quote unquote book club like a year ago. Meet Me in the Bathroom talked a lot about post 9/11. What you would consider Brooklyn or hip now. It was new back then. I think they were probably in either the first wave or second or third wave of bands post Strokes or whatever that went through there probably. But I think that's where Is a Real Boy was recorded. So he would have definitely had plenty of source material to be dissing Bohemians for like 2 full albums in a row. But
Right.
never loved the Walmart name drop in this song, but I'm not going to like, we can't just gush. I guess we could. It doesn't really matter. But that's the first time I was like, oh, okay. But, I'm still super into it.
I think it means exactly what it meant to mean. I don't know if I've ever considered a better way of saying it. I kind of like it. I mean, it's relatable. I don't know.
Sure. No, I didn't turn the record off. That's for sure. It was just the first one. I was like, well, is that anyway? Just don't love it. Again, it's not a god tier word. That's all. I don't know. I love almost every corner of this record, almost. But anyway, my favorite line from this one.
Mine as well.
Mountain man, brag about your band to me. You've got me hot with all your snide remarks about my poetry. The kind of the sassy start to this song, the catchiness to it. We've covered a lot of ground in terms of what this album sounds like in the first 4 songs. Kind of a poppy thing, kind of a sassy thing, a straight down the middle rock and roller in the first track and stuff. Already kind of a hate-filled one track too, so we're kind of like covering a lot of ground, but it also works together well. It's great. It just covers a lot of ground. Sorry, I'm starting to gush already. We're only on track 4. But yeah, I didn't even have a mountain man in my life, but I was like, yeah, that guy too. There's like a handsome guy and a hipster in my brain, and I really hate them both, even though there was no direct person that they stood for. It was just like the idea of this like hipster telling me like, giving me notes on my fiction writing or whatever. It's like, you know what? Max Bemis says I can say you to you, at least before I grow up. I don't know, but I love that line so much.
And the way he says it too, mountain man, like it's so
yes, theatrical
like,
in the best way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's
brag
getting,
about your band to me. You got me hot. It's like super theater kid about
like
it.
digging
In the best
gutter.
way, like intentionally. Right. I'm gonna give it. What are you gonna give it?
This is really hard because the chorus is like an A-, but the verses are S to me.
Ooh.
So it's really hard.
Sure. Okay. I think I'm gonna, and I am almost like have leftover bad feelings from just taking a giant number 2 on the Cursive Curves music video last week. It was like the band has, like these bands have brought us nothing but joy, so I feel weird even critiquing them, especially because of how underqualified we are to do so. Less cute, I'm going to give it a B.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
Hey. I don't feel good about it. I had the whole preamble and everything. Sorry. No. I think that, I'm just saying like for the first time, you're like, okay, these aren't all just crazy bangers. It's just like, it's good, but still lyrically gas pedal still down. If we're watching the lyric meter, still incredible.
Well, okay. When I visit this album, it's usually for the first 5 songs, just on repeat over and over. And I really look forward to Less Cute. I want to give it an S, but I think the A- nature of the chorus brings this song to an A plus.
Okay, that's where I'm at too. There's like parts of it. It's so good. But then it's like, okay, this isn't as good as the other ones. It's tough when the other ones are so incredible, especially because you kind of need a buffer between what you're getting from Hate Everyone and Do Better and then what's coming after Less Cute. You know what I mean?
Right. So Eloise is the thing that's keeping me from giving this the God tier.
That's what I'm saying.
Because
so you think Less Cute is almost God tier for you? You're giving it like an A plus. Okay.
Right,
it's thinking in what you just said.
I think maybe if it's not the strongest songwriting, the horns make me feel very excited. I don't know what it is, but I like working like doing website work while listening to this song, or like doing the dishes. It gets me in a good mood. So like it makes me feel like an S tier, but maybe the song itself.
Then put the label on, man. Well, if you want to.
I don't know. A plus.
If we were sitting there in the same room right now and we were like, are doing a workout tape or something to YouTube and this song was playing, we'd be like, you know what? They're all God tier. Every single one of these songs is God tier. Getting a little sweat on, like moving our feet, making it happen. But then you get to Eloise.
God tier if there ever was one. And if for no other reason.
Lock it in.
Other reason, then this is the song Shane used to get me to love the band, because he said, I know you love songs that crush your soul beyond repair. You need to listen to Eloise by Say Anything. And
here are my notes.
Oof.
Exclamation point. Yo. With a lot of O's.
Accurate. Super accurate.
I also would like to read the portion of the lyrics that need to, if you're going to do this episode, you got to read this part. This is like the God tier lyrics of the God tier song. This is the pinnacle of this piece of art, right? Of the album. Can I say that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
totally.
we might get to Amen and be like, you know what, this is fucking good too. But I'm just going to live in the moment right now and gush about how important this record is to probably both of us. Just post-college breakup, back at home without a job or anything for the summer, looking with 1 year of college ahead of me, not sure about jobs or the future, whatever. Post-breakup, just grinding it out, more than a dozen miles on the bike a day. Probably you've gone through similar stretches in your life that you've talked about on the show, just going from the east side of Erie along the Bayfront Highway down to the peninsula, out and around the 14 miles of the peninsula and then back, just like this in 4 years strong, pumping through the earbuds, just needing to put that energy somewhere. And here, if you'll allow me to read, you never meant that much to me. Oh, wait, sorry. This is a note before I wanted to read that. That's the line where I wrote like best post-relationship lie ever told by a man, right?
Oh, yeah. Ben Gibbard gives it too in Tiny Vessels. You were beautiful, but you didn't mean a thing to me. And
yeah,
maybe it's true, but
pretty common lie. Obviously, like tale as old as time. Song as old as rhyme. Beauty and the Beast. Oh my God. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. The other note was, again, riding my bike so fast. Okay, here's the actual, sorry, I got lost. I didn't boulder underline anything on this. I was just writing so fast, enjoying the song while I was taking notes and listening. Okay. Band-Aid, and this comes in the middle of the song, kind of the bridge, right? Band-Aid, just a bloody Band-Aid. That's all I ever really was to you, Eloise. Just a soldier with a syndrome who dreams of children's screams. You molded, you shaped like a god who loves to create. Band-Aids, two infected Band-Aids. That's all we ever really were to each other, Eloise. Just a couple of stupid kids throwing a ball back and forth just to see who drops it first. Well, think fast, killer. Whew. The mic, you think of the movie Tenacious D, there's like smoke coming off the mic or something. Just like laying it the hell down, man. I don't know. Thoughts. Give me everything. Give me your emotions on this one.
Well, I've seen two different lyrics here. I see one that says like a god who loves to create, and one like a god who loathes to create, which totally changes the meaning.
I think it's loves.
Okay. Well, I'm totally buying this on vinyl like immediately. So we'll look at the lyrics and do a follow-up. But anyway.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's you enjoyed molding and shaping me, right? My personality to fit what your idea, like my best side was your worst invention, Taking Back Sunday line, right. That type of thing. Which let's do 2 hours next week on 180 by Summer. Let's just do it already. Jeez, what are we waiting
Dude,
for?
I'd fucking love to.
Let's just revisit the worst parts of our lives over and over again, which is
Jesus
kind
Christ.
of welcome to the show, everybody. No, this is
Right.
the Think Fast Killer is just like you stop the bike, you take a deep breath, you pause the record, you take your headphones off, you just look into the nothingness and realize you accidentally stopped your bike near the water treatment plant in Erie. And you have to keep going, but had it been a more pretty place to stop, you would have just sat there and took in nature for a little while and realized what had just happened to your brain and ears. But not that that's happened to me directly, but just like if anyone else has experienced that, I'm just saying this for
I
you.
can smell and see that part of town.
Yeah, man.
I've been stuck at that red light too many times.
Yeah, man. Scenic Rust Belt. Scenic Erie, PA. Anyway, yeah, man, it makes you pause. Like the lyrics are so good up to this point, and then they're so good in this song that it gives you pause. You're like, whoa, wait, what? And then you rewind it and you listen again. Like he didn't just go there, did he? And then he does, and then it's like, which is it's my first note here. So yeah, I guess is my final take.
I mean, yeah, this song just like makes me feel like unbridled agony. Like even to this day, I've never been happier in my entire life. And I listen to this song and I am trash. I'm in the gutter. It puts me there and I love it. But
right, that's
the
your
line,
whole relationship with
right.
music, right? For people just joining the
for
show.
Sure. So the line, Eloise, you never meant that much to me. Baby, please let go my Eloise. So, and then my Eloise, you took the world from me. So it's like, again, that kind of like struggling to grapple your emotions. Like you didn't mean shit, but you took the world from me. And like, oh dude, I love the back and forth. Like you can feel,
Here's a question. You ready for this?
yeah.
Okay. Less cute versus admit it. Admit it wins, right? Bohemians are dumb. Eloise versus Every Man Has a Molly. Who wins?
I don't know Every Man Has a Molly that well.
Oh, dude.
So I don't
Then
know.
if you are in a rough spot, don't listen to it for the first time anytime soon. But also, I need you to listen to it someday and let me know what you think. Because similar energies, similarly very great. I hate to pin them together. On the off chance you had heard Every Man Has a Molly, I was curious about your take. They're both just, I said, there's gut punch songs we talk about on the show a lot. This is like a knife to the gut that kills you. Like you're being lacerations everywhere, critical lacerations.
Well, I will say though, last year we put out a novel called Ron Carnage, the Thinker Boy. The last chapter, was it not, was called Every Man Has a Molly?
Yeah, for that very reason. Yeah.
And I didn't realize that chapter is a fucking gut punch. Like it made me feel some shit I did not expect from how goofy that novel was. So I think you paid homage very well to the song name by doing it justice with the chapter you wrote about the last chapter of our novel, Ron Carnage, the Thinker Boy. Buy it now at whoisroncarnage.com.
Yeah, the sequel's coming out this year. Pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I remember being embarrassed in college, being older, still listening to Every Man Has a Molly and songs like Eloise. Like, this feels like something a 16-year-old should be really enjoying. I'm going on 22, 23. And yet this is impacting me. And it's like a fine wine. It's aging. I need this. It's almost like it's in the rotation and it's going to stay there, to be honest. Granted, closer to 30, not quite the medicine anymore. It would be unhealthy if it were the everyday medicine like it were back then. It's still in the rotation, but you kind of, mix it up a bit more. Anyway, unfair to compare the two. Eloise is God tier for me, hands down. Just
God
terrific,
tier.
Necessary, needs to be talked about. Max Bemis deserves your respect. The band deserves your respect. If they didn't already have it, right, for all their other terrific work.
Right. So,
but this doesn't get tired. Everyone's like, is a real boy, is a real boy, is a real boy. It's like, of course, duh. Like, great hot take, terrific, like, come on, everybody, let's just say it loud, say it proud, shout it from the freaking rooftops. This album is really, really good. Okay.
Let's move on to Mara and Me.
Let's say this. I'm going to say it's a B, but let's just take a minute. Let's just take a gosh darn minute. Okay, so this is one that has a huge payoff at the end and is a really good song as well. I want to go on record and say I have not dissed any song yet. I'm just giving them Bs. Can we really love this fictional handsome person that gets dissed again in this song at the end where he says, "Am I not alone?" Fake players are the ones who play. Go to sleep, come on. It's just like pumping the bikes full, the highest gear you can, just going at probably close to, I don't know if you can, I don't know how fast people go on bikes, but fast, man, really super fast.
Yeah, I wrote huge payoff at the end, but they kind of make you work for it. And
right. You're like, okay, this is the first bad song on the record, but then they get to that part, you're like, oh my God. And then the speed metal, I don't know if it's speed metal, but they're like, and I'm like, wait. I'm like, I can't even, it's like that part in Fight Club when he's like, it wasn't even blood pumping through my muscles at that point. I ran until, my blood pumped mercury or whatever. I forget the line, but you get what I mean. It's just like everything's burning in your body. Just like, how am I still at 11 out of 10 just from a physical fitness standpoint? You know what I mean? Because you think fake players are the ones who play the game is going to like be the big payoff. But then it's like, yeah, but then they go into that riff at the end and you're just like, stop, my face is melting. My face is melting. You're just like, damn, not FDA approved, my boy. Not FDA approved.
So, so this song, like, it makes me think of when Hannah first introduced me to this band and I didn't like them. The thing that I didn't like is that some of their songs seemed all over the place. And it was like hard to like keep up. Like once you got in the vibe of what was happening, it changed 3 times since then. And I don't mind that as much anymore. I was pretty small-minded when I was 17, but hence the, whatever.
So like, I'm going to give it a B, but I'm like, this song needs to be the way it is on this record for it to work so well as a whole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like greater than the sum of its parts type thing,
Absolutely, yeah.
Is as great as the sum of its parts? Anyway, the sum of its parts is
greater than.
Right. Greater than.
Yeah. And they kind of make you work for it. Each part is like kind of enjoyable, but the end is like,
yeah. That little like the tone on the lead guitar at the end is so sick.
So sick.
It's like I have to say sick. I don't even use that word that much. It just is super sick. I'm not even pulling it off, but I need to use that to convey. Okay, you giving it an A or a B or a God tier?
I'm gonna give it a B.
Cool. Crushed. Is that an homage to Arrowed in Homestar, you think?
Arrowed! This is the second time that I've thought about Homestar Runner in the making of this episode. I forget what it was earlier, but anyway.
Okay, you remember how we talked about Eloise an hour ago? We've been talking for that long? This is every song since then has had the sentence, I rode my bike so fast to this song. Those have been my notes for the last like 4 songs. Anyway, yeah, give me your thoughts. Give me your feelings. Give me your thoughts and your fears and hopes.
This is one of the early ones that I heard, and I didn't love it. There's still a part of me that thinks there's something missing from the chorus, but the rest of the song is like really working. It is
kind of more
exactly
of a
what it needs to be.
Is sensibility the right word there? Like a poppier? Is that okay to say?
Sure.
Some lyrics, if you don't mind. It's not awkward, girl. The compliments are coming next. You're no witch. You're no wench. You're like Bjork with better fashion sense. Respect to your work. You're an artist. I'm a silly jerk. But I think that dynamic could work. So work it. I'm just like, whoa.
So, yeah.
Starting with respect to your work. That particular, I bolded it there. Damn, just hits, right? That thing where you pick parts of a song to relate to in your life, even though they don't really fit at all. It's just like, I've never been with a girl who that sentence would apply to, and yet I'm on the bike pumping it out like, yeah, man.
Well, it's like, it's knowing that they're out of your league, but trying to convince yourself that like this could work out somehow.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, look, I'm selling, this is the hard sell, and even you hearing yourself say the words doesn't make sense. Like, please, it's like, right. No, actually, now that I say it, I get it. Have a nice life. But you're like, no, so work it. Anyway, when we spoke, no joke, I started shedding blanking girls like snakeskin, my collection acquired through shallow misdirection. Just still weaving, man. Still dodging. We were watching the Ric Flair documentary recently, just like the wheeling, dealing, lyric squealing. I'm not going to do a good example, but just like this dude is on one, right? Like, is that what the right way to phrase this would be? Just killing it.
Yeah, no, it is like, it's an 11 out of 10.
Yes.
Lyrically. So we also have the bridge. Your other suitors are no poets. They're only actors who can play guitar.
Have I won your heart?
Right. They're not students or screenwriters. They're only models that they taught to read.
Okay,
Love,
so I have a
would you
funny story
agree?
about this. In college during finals week, I used to tweet out single lines to a, pulp. Like had learned what pulp comic books were. I had watched Pulp Fiction for the first time, like any college student would. Anyway, I was trying to write my own thing called Mama and Nancy. It was supposed to be Mountain Mama of Appalachian fame. And one of the female Supreme Court justices with the letters in her name mixed up, and her alter ego was a crime fighter, and she and Mountain Mama would fight crime. Pretty bizarre stuff. Anyway.
I kind of remember that.
Yeah, it was called Mama and Nancy. It was like this little like fake comic book I started to write. This was pre-Ron Carnage stuff. But
dude,
this
we
was
need to
like
dig this up.
yeah, it's probably somewhere, but I started getting into like single sentence tweets, but it was before tweet threads. I think you could do. I think.
Right.
Anyway, so
way
there would just
before.
be spare parts about like Mama and Nancy chasing down evil like pawpaw, which is like a Midwestern fruit that doesn't taste very good, but they have festivals about it and stuff. Anyway, they come to life and they
Dude,
start to
pawpaws
attack
are
the
so
town.
sick. Go yourself, dude.
Sorry, I don't know if people liked them, but yeah, no, Athens' like summer economy is based off them. So yeah, no, they're great.
Oh.
I don't hate them. Anyway, you're right. You're correct. I don't know why I like put that qualifier on it, but anyway, in the process of tweeting line by line, Mama and Nancy, like the first origin story, I was getting to the part about I stole the line, actors who can play guitar or models taught to read, and people were tweeting about me like, oh. Pat must be emulating those nonsense poets from the 40s, or like they took some like French period of nonsense poetry and thought I was like giving me way more credit than I deserve, but really I was just losing my mind at like 4 a.m. studying for finals. I was like, yeah, that's who I'm emulating. But it's like getting way too much credit. Just other people studying up that late on Twitter, like, you all right, man? Like, what the are you talking about? But anyway, you guys didn't catch that reference to track 7 or 8 on the Say Anything self-titled that came out several years ago? No? Okay. That's what I was going for there. So anyway, very important, very good.
Yeah, really cool killer synth solo that kind of breaks this song into sections for me. And
yeah.
We get the synth solo, and then in the last chorus, he's doing these like kind of improv bits during the chorus, and he's like, ha! Spectacular!
Yeah.
I'm starting to crush the heck out.
Which is so intentionally lame, I'm sure, but like it shows how like you can go from so rageful, you talk about the teen ups and downs. It's just like, it's not lame, it's just like, you've been there too, man. You felt exactly that. You're just like pumping the, the pedals to the bike. Like, I am starting to crush the heck out. I love that this record was written about me alone.
Well, also, is it just like a nod to like how goofy and dorky he feels by like intentionally saying something that's so cheesy?
Right. And I think it sums up, and I'll let you read it by the line at the end of the song that starts with, I'm quite sure.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm quite sure you love me, Sherry, who he was married to, right?
I'm not sure I'm familiar enough, but it's quite possible.
Okay. I'm quite sure you love me, Sherry. I'm quite sure I love you too, which like already the ambiguity of like, maybe I'm just a shitty guy who doesn't even know what love is. I love that. That's why I love that show, You're the Worst, on Hulu. Just like,
you've been on that for a little while now.
Oh my dude, I've watched it twice already. It's absolutely incredible.
Whoa. Okay.
And he says, so fly.
Yeah.
We should make a verbal agreement to only kiss each other.
Yeah.
And
just saying it, like just laying it out there in that way. I thought it was really, creative. Like,
oh yeah,
it's kind of like a societal agreement not to say that's what it is, but not that, it's deeper or it is. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words trying to even describe what it is, but it felt great to be like, man, this son of a he's like, every song makes you like really take a pause a little bit. Because one time beneath the sky outside my New York pigsty, yeah, I saw a vision of you and I. Did it hurt when you fell from heaven, girl? Just like, again, so like lullaby-ish and lame, but like fun lame, and it rocks so well, and it has that pop sound to it. Really love this one. I'm tempted to give it a God tier. Sue me. I don't know. I like it a lot.
Oh,
it's a great Crush song, man. So songs that you just like punish your ears with for like 48 hours on repeat. You know what I mean? Like for you, I think you've talked on the show before about like needing to feel like you want to jump off a roof or something, right? Like, and there's people on Twitter who have connected with that. I think if you listen to the show, you know that, or maybe I'm just admitting this to myself for the first time, a good Crush song, it's hard to beat, man. When you're like high on life like that and you're just like, I am starting to crush the heck out. Yeah, man. Yeah. Oh, you know, you want to scream. Oh, I don't know. It feels great. There's a lot of badness going around, and always you focus on that or whatever, but you got to acknowledge the ups as well. And sometimes when you're the perfect Crush song for the perfect crush is hard to top. You know what? That'll be my like stretch pick for this particular episode. I'm gonna give this one the God tier. I just freaking really like it.
Wow. So it's hard. I think I'm gonna cheat again and give it an A+.
That's fine.
Maybe an A. I don't know. Because the chorus, I want something else in the composition of the chorus, like musically. But the rest of the song doesn't deserve that judgment. Like, it's really hard, man.
Right. Well, I've been too hard on other songs, so I'm gonna skew in the other direction for this one. We're probably running long. You want to burn through some here?
I don't want to necessarily burn through them, but
that's fine. I'll take all the time in the world. Yeah.
Yeah. This is just going to be a long episode. Anyways, She Won't Follow You. I wrote that like the guitar intro is pretty deceptive, and it ends up bumming me out because I always feel like the song is going to go in a much different, like almost easy core, like pop punk direction. And I would love, love, love to see like, you know, in Chopped, they're like, make a dish out of these ingredients. It would be awesome to like have bands compete to make a full song out of that intro, to like see what other bands do with that intro, because the song could have gone in such a different direction. They do revisit it about halfway through, but I love the guitar intro for this. Some of it is just like, it bums me out that it doesn't stick with that. And I also have that this is the opposite of Crushed, where the verses are like okay and the choruses are fucking amazing.
Yes, I agree with everything you just said. And this is the one song on the album that I am just going to politely, not maybe politely, but just give a B to and not expand. I'm too grateful to the record overall to really say anything because it's good. It wasn't my favorite on the whole thing, and I'm not trying to be negative, that's all.
Yeah, I might give it a B as well, just because the verses are kind of a slog to get through, I feel like. But the guitar work is a lot of fun, really sick guitar solo, and I like the chorus, but I'd say it's a pretty solid beat.
I would say it's another bridge song, similar to, if you go back to Less Cute, perhaps, and maybe Mara and Me as well, because it kind of, you can't just go from Eloise to Crushed to some of the, and just be like experiencing emotion in full, like 4 Years Strong. Like we've reviewed some of their albums, it's a certain way the whole time, and there's a time and a place, right? This kind of like lets you breathe and like take the lyrics in a little bit. I don't know. To me, it's like doesn't have to be the best every song. It's just another bridge, because the back half of the album and the back third is heavy, man. It's heavy. So
yeah. Yeah.
So to me, maybe that's how I'm framing it in my own mind, at least. But yeah, it's B for me.
Sure. Okay. Well, Cemetery.
You have a lot of notes. I'll let you take it.
So we had planned on doing this episode earlier, like many months earlier, I think. And I'm glad we didn't, because something happened like 2 nights ago that really resonated with me after reading the lyrics for this song. And there was actually some pretty good analyses on genius.com. But okay, like a couple nights ago, I was like laying in bed with Megan. We're both working from home now, so we see each other a bit more, but like not much during the day. So we spend most of our time together at night. There was one night I was working really late, so we didn't get to like really be together until we were like laying in bed talking, and we just like kind of talked super late. And I forget how it came up, but like she just started crying like, what if when we're dead, our souls can't find each other to like be together, because you know the energy in the universe can't be destroyed, so if we love each other, the love will continue beyond our physical bodies. It's a nice sentiment. I kind of believe in that, and there's it's a pretty intense thought, it kind of fucked me up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then reading that, that's what this song is about, like making sure that even after life, you can be with this person and feel their soul and like never wanting to leave even after we're not a part of this earth anymore. And there was a quote from Bemis. It's about how when you really love someone and it's deep in your soul, after you die, the soul endures and that love will burn on. If everything was stripped away and I had to answer after I die, consciously affirm the most important thing in my life, it would be Sherry, the defining thing in my life. And there's lines like, as I drown in lakes of fire, which again, like he's going to hell, and
Right.
like that religious stuff. I will call your name as I expire. It's the last thing that I'll do. I'll tell them I'm with you. And like, hell is usually perceived as this all-consuming thing. It just crushes your spirit. And it's like, even then I will like look out of the fire and be like, that's where I'm supposed to, like, dude. Oh, that really got me. It really, really got me. And I like, as I was writing the notes, I was like, my wife was just crying about this 2 nights ago. And then like later on in the notes, it's like, why am I crying now? As I was making the notes, I got really fucking emotional. Like, you're in my body. That's where I think about you. And huge payoff at the end. He starts like yelling it, and it's just as if it couldn't get any more intense. I wouldn't have thought twice about this song even yesterday, but I would probably give it God tier today.
I'll give it a strong A. I don't think I could say it better than you did just now, partner, honestly. Yeah, I'll give it an A. I like it a lot as well for the reasons you just mentioned. I think that was well put.
It's
it's weird to agree
else,
on the
dude.
show, like you and I, but now I'm on the same page, exact same page as you. It's, you're in my body, beautiful sentiment. Again, for me to elaborate would rob you of what you just laid down on the track, which was good stuff. So, on to the next one, I guess.
Yeah, then we start feeling real uncomfortable with property.
Ooh, yes. First note, this is a motherfucker of a song.
Yeah, wrote behind you, I said, I feel like this is commentary. Like, this can't possibly be the way he thinks, right? Like,
No, yeah. I mean, it's the album drips with, is dripping with, I don't know, is it satire wouldn't be the right word, but
parodies? Satire.
Yeah.
Social commentary.
I mean, at
like,
the
I
end
don't
when
know.
he's talking about, if you have to sell your body once or twice or a few dozen times, no worry, because one day my band's going to make it, and this will all be just a distant dream. No, selling drugs to his, I don't know, it's just like, don't you go leaving, just like it starts off so innocent. And,
can we talk about that like 1950s vibe? I would have loved a whole song of that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they cover so much ground. It goes back to that saxy sound. With the Mountain Man, Brag About Your Band to Me stuff. A lot of ground covered, but then they always wind up rocking your face off a little bit, except for the slow songs, of course. But baby, I'd find you. You're like, okay, tell all your secrets. Okay, no one will want you. Okay, well, no, hold on now. You better tattoo, all right, that I'm your patriarch. Oh, no. Just like, this better be, parody for sure. Anyway, pretty interesting piece of art, this one, for sure.
Well, also, the thing I really appreciate the album as a whole is like the juxtapositions throughout, and that whole like 1950s vibe is like this era of like innocence and purity. And it's like, it starts off with like this whole era that's defined by this purity, and it allows you to think that for like a second. And I know what's best for you, like there'll be no. So I love how even in the very serious nature of that, there's playfulness between the music and the lyrics, and then it just descends into chaos by the end with like the sludgiest guitar tone ever recorded.
Give me the sludge. Sludge. Need the sludge. Love the sludge. Big fan of the sludge.
I meant to mention this in the fun facts. If I gave you one guess as to who produced this record, do you think you could think of one name that occurs over and over and over every week? Neil Avron.
Gotcha. Right. The guy who does all of them. Have we even done an episode on him yet?
This is a show about Neil Avron.
It really is.
Pretty much.
Yeah, this is a show about him. Hey, I might as well own it at this point.
Like, whenever I do the research, it's like, damn it, this song was produced by Neil Avron too. Like, he did All Downhill from Here.
Did you do it again? You did it to us again, didn't you, Neil?
He did Ocean Avenue. Like, he's done everything we love has been done by
many
Neil
other
Avron.
examples, yes. But yes, also
Neil Avron is God tier. We'll say that.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I'll sign off on that. I do want to say this: the spoken word stuff at the end with the selling drugs to his little brother's friends. Curious if it's payback for the spoken word stuff he couldn't squeeze into Is a Real Boy or something. Maybe there's always been a thirst for these really long albums, these really momentous efforts that string things together in themes and rock opera type stuff. Curious if that's what that was an homage to. Not sure.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that album well enough. Because
let's do an hour next week on the sludge tone, though, of this song.
Let's do it.
I think it was the same sludge as that purple monster in that PBS horror mystery show called Ghostwriters. I hated that. I loved it, but it scared the shit out of me. Sludge Man or whatever. Oh my God, brutal. Anyway.
And the Power Rangers movie.
PBS, are you kidding me? This is freaking X-rated violence. Neither here nor there as we enter into the hour and a half long episode. Death for My Birthday. I'm going to give that an A, and I'm going to give Death for My Birthday an A. This falls under that. File that under, like, would I have thought about this stuff had I not heard this song? Interesting to descend into this mindset a little bit. I'm going to give it an A, leave you with that because we're running long, but you've heard me do that spiel on this show dozens of times, so I'll spare you guys. But that's kind of where what I think of this song, and it's a good song. So those are my takes there.
I'll give Property a B. Pat, oh my God, I might give Death for My Birthday an S. It might be God tier. I don't know. I don't know. Like, again,
don't be scared. It's your show. You're late.
Okay, so again, the juxtapositions here. We have like really innocent sounding music on Property with like the most horrendous lyrics, and then we have like the poppiest song talking about like just kill me please, Yeah. And I don't know if other people can get this mental picture the way I am right now. You know those old cartoons of like a cat bopping up and down with his knees real high, his elbows are swinging, his whole body's just kind of like moving up and down, and the street like moves behind him, so it looks like he's on this like endless street dancing to some groove that isn't there. Like, I feel like you could layer this song over that gif of like the 1940s cartoon and it would just match perfectly. The music is so fun, the really minimal guitar like lead part, and I love life, but life has a boyfriend. Bless my soul, I'm out to destroy them. I have felt that line in the depths of my heart like more times than my brain can even possibly like maintain the memories of. Oof, oof, oof,
yeah,
oof.
Oof is right, man. Made a baby in unmentionable ways. Anyway. Again, well put. A little short on time, but yeah, it's just, we've talked about it. Go listen to the Hawthorne Heights episode to really get, if you missed that conversation back then. But yeah, some of these thoughts, we talked about it during the Wonder Years episode too, like you kind of have to reckon with some of these thoughts that were put into our young brains, but not that, it's appropriate, it's art, it's whatever, it's music. But it's definitely like, so there are people out there who think this way. Interesting. Well,
then
like maybe I think that way.
But then the last line, the whole thing turns around and like last words he had to say were, help me claw my way to the surface. Oh, sweet Lord, I deserve this. Just one more day, just one more birthday. So it's like, are we just being dramatic? Which is kind of the whole album, Yeah,
man, I'm here like, I feel like I'm in a basement of some like weird AM station in the 80s or something, smoking a cigarette, like might be the whole fucking thing right there, man.
I wasn't ready for that.
That's a fucking Rona cough there, dude.
I have had chest pain for the past week. but I think that's more asthma related.
Gotcha. There was like a legitimate New Yorker piece, I think, that was like, is this anxiety or just the coronavirus? Or, coronavirus or just anxiety? I was like, this is the only time period where that freaking thing can be written. I'm sure that's not true. But anyway, I'm going to give this an A. Did I already give it an A?
I think so.
I'm saving my last bits of focus for men, I think.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about Young, Dumb, and Stung.
I'll give it a B, but a thankful B.
I might have to agree. B or B plus.
You can get hyped to it, by the way. You can ride your bike fast as to this one. I can prove that to you. I have done it several times.
The cutting lyrics are what I like. He is such a good talker.
Dude, can I read you my favorite one real quick?
Yes.
I'll call you Richard if you will, you bag of swill. Like what the hell, man? I just want to listen to Max talk for any long period of time. Like what life experience led you to that lyric, Anyway, I will call you Richard if you will, you bag of swill. Which is a cut. Is it I wouldn't want to be said that too. Anyway.
Well, let me read this and then we'll move on because I think it's such a nice oh, you'll be pumping my gas someday type thing. Like when I was 10 years young, my douche best friend, which is already so funny.
It's funny that he spins this great web and then we'll just be like my douche best friend, or say like the Walmart version of you. Like there's so many lyrical highs and lows that it's almost frustrating because but if you stunt on the listener that hard, I can't pull that off. But if you do your job so well, I guess you're allowed. It's like the Taylor Swift giggle on Red when she's like, it's so fun, she's allowed to do that because she gave us Red. Max is allowed to say my douche best friend because of every single other line on this song being incredible.
I almost kind of took it as there's a part of me that wants to think he thinks so little of this guy, it's not even worth stunting on him, as you said.
Again, I apologize for everything, as always.
When I was 10 years young, my douche best friend decided that I was just not cool enough for him. My awkward frame and bucktooth grin were no accoutrements for one with a new skin. Well, late last week, I saw that man. He was far too high to grasp that I shook his hand. I've got my pride in my rock band, singing words that he don't understand. And when you get to that line, it's like, oh, he said accoutrements. That is specific. And then it all comes around at the end. He doesn't even know what the that means. What an idiot, And Pat, do we know what that word means? But
I was hoping you wouldn't ask. It's like omelette du fromage.
But
Un deux
anyway.
trois quatre cinq. That's my French is pretty limited, so I couldn't tell you. Anyway, I'm gonna give this one. Did we already give it a B? But a respect, a thankful B. Sure.
Give it a B. Let's move on.
We'll give it a bag of swill. Amen. Amen. The last song on the record. This is a song that maybe you grab a guitar and try to learn it just because I could know it on a deeper level. It's happened only maybe a dozen times in my life. Just love it a lot. Love the riff. You want to know what's not FDA approved, Tom? This is the only reoccurring bit I do on the show that has any meaning to anything or worth anyone's time. The switch at 145 is not regulated by the FDA. This is not right for the everyday public to try to consume. It needs to be watered down. It's too potent. It's not right for the American public. Are you kidding me with this? Those drums at 210, they should be regulated by a multinational governing body, Tom. This is just the type of thing you shouldn't be put to the ears of our youth. It's a detriment to society. I'm just kidding. I love this song. I mean, the power.
User discretion advised.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. There should be a sticker over the curved sword on the front. I should have gave it away. Just kidding. Can I lie at your grave? Oh my God. I'm sorry. I think we were going to end the episode. I was hoping with reading the last final, just terrific entry into this journal of these brilliant lyrics on this album, if you don't mind, but I'll let you is that okay to end it that way?
Yeah, totally. I mean, you talked about the guitar chords. I was like, I need to learn this song, and they are weirdly hard chords.
It's weird, man. The slide part.
Yeah. And that's why it sounds super, I don't want to ruin anyone's time with this song, but that's why it sounds super edited.
Yeah, but then it goes to that.
Oh my
Yeah,
god!
every
impossible
switch,
to get back and forth from.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, then we get like the strums, and the whole song changes, and you're like, if you didn't know that the last song was coming, you could feel it that this is the anthemic outro.
So perfect. God tier.
Couldn't have asked. Yeah.
God tier.
Oh yeah. God tier. Multiple gods tiers.
Multiple. Oh hey, yeah. Whoever is man oh man alive. Do you mind if I just read the lyrics that close the song out, to close the episode out? I mean, we'll do songs of the week, but if you're ready for that, God tier for this. Thank you, Max, and to the band. Say Anything. Very meaningful and important album to us. Kind of at the perfect time for me. Yeah, just terrific. There's a crack in the edge at the end of the world where I will sit with my love in this fluorescent swirl. Eat us up, break it down to the tiniest cell, in a room with a view and a window to hell, where those who buried bodies in the barrels of fun will be marched through museums that display what they've done. They'll be shot up through the sky by a cannon of sin, where we'll reluctantly let them in. So can I lie in your grave? Yeah, etc., etc.
Can I lie with you in your grave is not... It's not like, I guess, as poetic as all the rest. I mean, it's simple. It's effective. It cuts, dude. It's yeah. This is a song that makes me regret decisions in the past where I could have seen this band in 2010 with Angels and Airwaves, and I decided to not try to leave work early to see Say Anything because at that time I didn't like them. And Say Anything at their peak with like one of my favorite albums ever, could have seen them perform it live.
With Angels and Airwaves, one of your faves.
I did see Angels and Airwaves at the 930 Club in DC. I had to ride my bike like 10 miles in a few minutes, like the fastest I've ever ridden to get there in time. And I got there like halfway through the last song of Say Anything. I could have seen this album live, dude. Like, it's like not loving 1989 in time enough to see it performed live. And this is a big regret for me, especially that I went to the show. Like, I could have seen them play this song live. But yeah, I mean, this is such a good record. And, you know, I really get caught in the cycle of just listening from track 1 through Eloise and just over and over and over because it's so good. It's also why I haven't explored enough of Say Anything's discography, because, like, it's like when I go to a restaurant and I find something I love, I just get it every time. Like, it's never going to let you down.
Right.
So,
I cannot recommend
put it on
enough
repeat.
Finding Every Man Has a Molly and sinking into it. Yeah, the payoffs are, you're rewarded for sure for sticking around with the ups and the downs and everything.
Yeah, it's something else for sure. I'm glad we finally got around to it. We could totally do another hour and a half. I almost tried to push for a 2-part episode here.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do a music video if there's a good music video for this record album, which we don't really have time to discuss anyway. I haven't looked, but yes, that's a longer one, but one that was important to us and one that a few of you asked for. So we're working through your list of requests as we go along here. I think we had the same song of the week this week.
Ooh, wow. Well, damn. Okay. Well, yeah, let's do song of the week, and then I guess we'll head over to the post show for Patreon. Maybe talk more about Mama and Nancy. Let's hear your song of the week.
Cool by Dua Lipa. I had a good friend of mine text me the song the other day, and he seemed to really like it. So thankful.
It was me.
It was.
Yeah, no, this album is super good. I'm actually going to do a write-up on it for the website. Cool. Track 3 is something else, man. The album's so good. Yeah, I've been listening to it on repeat. This isn't the Dua Lipa episode. Anyway, she has a new album out. Super good. And then right before we hit record, Stand Atlantic announced they're releasing a new single tomorrow, which is April Fool's Day. I have not heard it yet, but it's called Drink to Drown. And they're doing a thing where, like, they were supposed to have this huge album release, but since music is canceled because of the coronavirus, they're basically going to put out a song a month indefinitely, since they can't do a big album release and tour and whatnot. So Drink to Drown, I am really curious to hear what it sounds like. By the time this episode is out, I will know and have an update, but Drink to Drown by Stand Atlantic.
Would you say that you enjoy that band?
Fucking love that band, dude. So, yeah, that's it, man. Long one. We haven't gone this long in a very long time. I thought we might have maxed out with the upsides, but we got
I mean, if you listen to the show, you know that we referenced these two albums in many other episodes indirectly. So, worth every second for us anyway. If you're here, thank you.
Yeah, finally did it. Proud of us. And love you, man.
Love you too, man. Thanks, Max.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for making it all the way through this super long episode. Hit us up on Twitter at _reminiscentfm and let us know how you would tier these songs. And we made a few references to Adam Schlesinger in this episode that were cut out because he recently passed away, and we want to honor his name, and we're going to be doing an Adam Schlesinger appreciation episode next week. So make sure to stay tuned, subscribe to the show, and help us celebrate his life next week. We love you all. Stay safe. Bye.